live on the air. I'm Richard Sales.
This is wild.
Welcome back to another episode of Lounge Time. I'm your host, Rich Sale, and today we got a lot of Week 12 games to cover. We got Week 13 picks. We've got the playoff picture heating up. There's a lot of very, very important things I want to go into today with the playoff teams. So, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed your Thanksgiving and football and rivalry weekend for college football fans. But let's get into the weekly segment everybody loves best. The recapping with Rich. Starting off with the Thanksgiving Day games. With the Bills and the Lions. Josh Allen, he was good, but there are still some errors with the red zone mistakes where he's throwing bad red zone interceptions. I want to say it started with the Green Bay game on Sunday night, Halloween Eve, I think it was. And it's still going on as of right now. I don't think that will happen tomorrow, but that's a different topic that we're going to get to down the road. He was good, 24-42, 253 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Obviously, he had 10 carries, 78 yards and a touchdown. So he not only did it through the air, he did it on the ground as well. Devin Singletary was able to run the ball well. 14 carries, 72 yards. So the running game has been going outside of Josh Allen. Isaiah McKenzie stepped up. 6 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown. Diggs started to heat up late in the fourth quarter. 8 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown. Offensive line lately looks shaky for the Bills. Okay, it looks shaky. 3 sacks allowed they gave up this game. The defense, though, I know people say it's not as good as they were early in the year, but I do think they will figure things out. Okay, I wouldn't panic if I'm the Bills about the defense. I think they'll be fine there. I know they gave up 25 this game. They got 2 sacks, 10 quarterback hits on Jared Goff. Ed Oliver had a monster game with a sack and a fumble recovery. The lone missed opportunity was the interception in the red zone. Would have been much more of a blowout than it would have been, but it ended up being a 3-point game. 7-12 on third down is great, right? The 1 turnover, they have the habit of turning the ball over in the red area, and in close games, that's a killer, okay? But they've gotten away with it. Do that against a team that can score off a turnover and can cash it in the red area, that's not going to be able to get away with it much longer. Which brings me to the Lions. Jared Goff was good, didn't turn the ball over. Jamal Williams, 18 carries, 66 yards, and a touchdown. He did a good job there. St. Brown was going off. 9 catches, 122 yards, and a touchdown. DJ Chark came off IR, got a touchdown. Defense, though, it's the one weak link with the Lions they have. 28 points allowed, 3 sacks. I know Anceloni had the fumble recovery. Houston had the fumble recovery too, so they had 2 on defense. The last drive was inexcusable, right? Going back to the Bills, that last drive was exactly what they needed, I feel like. To just remind everybody that they are the Bills. They were once the Super Bowl favorites entering this year. That's changed. But they're a reminder that they're still one of the best teams in the league. And that's kind of the drive you need in a game where everybody thinks, oh, they're going to just shut it down, play for overtime. They're not really that good right now. And they just remind everybody that Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs are one of the best quarterback receiver tandems in the league. And they can make a big play at any time, especially in a game when it matters, like this game did. So that was kind of that drive that they got to have, and they did. Which brings me to the Lions side of that drive. How do you give up a big play over the middle when you know it's Diggs, and clearly you have to make sure that you don't let that happen? Because that play essentially got him in field goal range. That play essentially started the series of a bad luck for them. I don't know why, but it just did. Okay? But the Lions just have bad plays that go on at absolute worst times. They had a ton of missed opportunities too. So as much as we want to say it was just that one drive, it was not. They had a fumble at about, I want to say, midfield. Buffalo got it. The missed field goal. I remember Jim Nantz threw the announcer's jinx in there. Great announcer. Great play-by-play guy. But the fact you say you don't believe in an announcer's jinx and it actually happens the second you say that, that's not cool. That's not cool. But you can blame the announcer's jinx all you want. It was still a missed field goal that we're having a different conversation if they make. 6 of 15 on third down. That's great. Well, not really great. It's okay. 2 turnovers, though. And there was 3 for 4 in the red zone. Just one opportunity in the red zone. There was one other thing that caught my eye. I think it was like 3rd and 1. I think they threw it. And I was kind of surprised they threw it. I thought they would run it. Something like that. But, you know, they ended up taking 3, and they gave Josh Allen a little too much time to go get a field goal. But the Lions they got to learn how to win the close games, and they got to learn not to do the dumb things that eventually win and lose you a game. That's what the Lions are. Giants and the Cowboys. Where are you at, Giants fans? I know 2 people are watching this. I know you are. I want to know where you guys are. Is it panic time? No, absolutely not. Okay? Daniel Jones was average. Nothing special. Nothing crazy. Nothing jaw-dropping. No, he was just okay. All right? Saquon Barkley had a rushing touchdown. Didn't have a great game as usual. Okay? Richie James had a touchdown for the backdoor cover if you had the Giants plus 10. Darius Slayton, 3 catches, 63 yards. Offensive line, again, 3 sacks allowed. They went off on Monday night, and 3 sacks they gave up again. Okay? Dallas defensive line really owned them up front, those 2 meetings. Defense gave up 28 points allowed. Got no sacks. 2 interceptions in the first half. 2 turnover on downs that kind of made the difference in the game. When they had to make a drive happen, they couldn't. 3 of 11 on third down, not very good. 7 penalties for 66 yards. I wouldn't say it's panic time yet. Dallas is clearly a better team than you. That's what we learned. However, you're playing Washington. You're playing Philly. And I have the fact that two Giants fans reached out to me and said, we have a tougher schedule than the Patriots do. Well, who expected your division to be this good? Not many people, including myself. But don't start planting them excuses now that you're losing. Oh, no. You lost to the Lions the week before. You lost to Dallas twice. And you lost in Seattle. I don't want to hear about tough schedule. Okay? At the end of the day, you know what comes down to you making the playoffs and what doesn't? Winning your division games. And so far, you're 0-2 in the division. You're 0 for 2. And you've got Washington twice, and you've got Philly twice. I must remind you, though, don't panic yet. But if you lose to Washington, and the fact if Washington could top you and move ahead of you in the division and the wild card, then it's absolutely panic time. Absolutely panic time. But they'll be fine. They will be fine. Just pump the brakes. It's going to be good. Okay? Which brings me to the Cowboys. Dak was all right. 21 of 30. 261, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. First half, he was not that great at all. In fact, I thought he was awful in the first half. But second half, he picked it up, got a couple drives going, and ended up getting 2 touchdown passes of his own. Zeke Elliott, 16 carries, 92 yards, touchdown. He got going. Pollard helped out a little bit too. They split carries. Hendershot had a rushing touchdown. Dalton Schultz had 2 touchdowns as well. He killed me against fantasy. CeeDee Lamb, 6 catches, 106 yards. Gallup and Ferguson did a good job as well in the passing game. Defense gave up 20. That works. Dallas can score 21 plus as an offense. Their defense holds their opponent to 20. They're good. 3 sacks they're able to get. That pass rush is easily top 5 in the league with the rotation they've got in the inside and on the edge. But right now, they're playing lights out. 3 sacks they got this game. No takeaways. But that first half, let's talk about this for a second. Turnover on downs early in the game. Mike McCarthy and his stupid analytics. I can't get why. Interception, missed field goal. Well, I think the missed field goal was fourth quarter. But the turnover on downs, INT was all in the first half. If we look at that, Dallas technically was not moving the ball well. Now, I don't know if it was because that they thought that, okay, we can kind of, if we keep drives alive, we could kind of, play analytics and shit. I don't know what they were doing, but it was a horrible, horrible game plan in the first half. Zeke was running a little bit on him. Pollard did a good job with some runs, right? But the Giants' defense played very well in the first half against Dallas. And then second half, Dallas said, all right, time to go all gas and just throw to Schultz, Lamb, and get our receivers going and be able to be balanced. If they're balanced and their defense is playing this good, Dallas could make a deep playoff run. But it all comes down to just them being balanced, sticking to that formula, and not doing dumb things to lose games. Turnovers and penalties. We're going to get to that in just a second. Okay? 7 of 11 on third down. That's great. 4 for 4 in the red zone. Huge plus. Okay? But 13 penalties for 86 yards and 2 turnovers. 2 huge red flags that concern Dallas for me. Bad timing turnovers and a lot of penalties. Do you not learn from the playoff game against the Niners as to why you got eliminated? Penalties, and then you turned it over twice this game, okay? But penalties and turnovers are your 2 biggest things that will guarantee you a loss. If you turn it over and get penalized a lot, you are going to lose most games. It's very rare that you have more turnovers and penalties than your opponent and you get away with winning. It's very rare. In most cases, you lose. That's one thing Dallas has got to cut down if they're planning to make a deep playoff run. My Patriots against the Vikings. Mac Jones, 28-39, 382 yards, 2 touchdowns. By my standards, he actually had the best game of the season. His best game of the season. Okay? Better than the Ravens game. Okay? Better than the Pittsburgh game, clearly. It's just the Ravens game. He turned it over late, and that's what hurt us in that game. But this was better. Here's the downside, though. Okay? Running game didn't do much. We were kind of pass happy this game, right? Hunter Henry, he had a touchdown in each. So did Aguilar. Devontae Parker, 4 catches for 80 yards. But the one Hunter Henry touchdown catch, I'm not getting mad over it. I'm not. Okay? Unfortunately, it sucks. The rule's the rule. Should it have been in a catch? I thought so, but there's no point of getting mad over any second of the bobble going to the ground and not being catch. I'm not surprised they ruled it that way, but I do remind you guys, if you watched the Chiefs-Colt game, I don't know if you guys saw this on social media or Twitter, they showed the 2 side-by-side pictures of the Travis Kelce touchdown against the Colts back in week 3, and then they showed Hunter Henry's touchdown from last Thursday. Very similar, both of those plays. One was ruled a touchdown, the other one was not. You guys know which was which. If you don't know, Look up on social media. I don't know how much more I have to say this, okay? But there's no point in getting mad about it. Would it have changed the game? Very little. It would have made the score closer than 7. But I don't think it would have mattered that much. I'm not surprised I say this. Offensive line sucks. 3 sacks allowed. And I've gone on about this for months and countless minutes of showtime where I just roast why we're in this predicament. There's no point of me saying this. If you don't know, please watch earlier Lounge Time episodes because I'm not going over this again. I'm not. Okay? There's a lot to it. Okay? Obviously, the defense sold as well. Okay? They only got 1 sack. Everything I said that we had a chance to win this game happened in the other way. Okay? And Kirk Cousins being bad on primetime, polar opposite happens. Justin Jefferson going off happens. Why do you think I picked it on guarantee it's last week? Because we cannot beat the good teams. We can't. Unless it's a controversial call that goes our way, or an injury happens, or inclement weather happens, or elements. That's the only reason we win games against good teams. Going back to when Cam Newton came in 2020 to right now. That's the only reason we have beaten good teams. Okay? If it's none of those 3, we lose. That's what we are. And I'll own it. We are just not a very good team. We can't beat the good teams. Okay? Jack Jones got the INT. They gave up 33 points allowed. Obviously, the turnover on downs was basically the difference in the game, along with a couple special teams blunder. Pierre Strong roughing the kicker. You know, we've never seen the special teams unit be so bad. That was bad. And Belichick, that stings him to his core when special teams does a mistake like that. It hurts, Bill, right? Well, you know what hurts? When you clearly screw the team up because of your dumb moves. Just how it hurts you when special teams blunders get you crazy. All your moves that you've done since Brady left have been disaster. That's what irritates me more. Okay? 3 of 10 on 3rd down. Not very good. 0 of 3 in the red zone. Okay? 6 penalties. If it was anybody else, we would blame coaching. But here's one thing I will not allow. I won't grant an exception. I don't care. Okay? You know what this problem is? And seriously, this has never been an issue in New England because you know why? They've had structure. They've had great coaching going back to the early dynasty years. And even the second half where it was McDaniels and then their carousel of coordinators between Flores and now his son Steve and obviously Patricia, and before that we can go to Crennel and Charlie Weiss. But here's the problem now with the Patriots that has never, ever, ever been an issue. Coaching. Okay? Coaching. You can't score in the red area, you commit dumb penalties, and you can't convert on the money downs. You can say all you want of this being a point of emphasis. At some point, you got to damn do it and make it work, bro. And that comes down to coaching. Simple. Simple. And coaching hurt us this game. And all the losses. It doesn't stop. There's a common denominator, and it's coaching all around. Okay? Even Bill. And yes, he's getting most of the blame. All right? Which brings me to the Vikings. Kirk Cousins looked like Joe Montana, and Justin Jefferson looked like Jerry Rice. That's what we made them look like. No, I'm not joking. They looked like it. Okay? 30 of 37 for 299, 3 touchdowns, not 2 interceptions, only 1. Justin Jefferson, 9 for 139 and a touchdown. Running game didn't do much. Thielen, 9 catches, 61 yards and a touchdown. His best game of the season, of course, comes against us, right? After 4 years ago, he freaking, yelled at Bill for challenging a play and accusing us of being dirty or whatever. I actually found that out through one of the volume podcasts, stuff like that. Hockenson had a touchdown. But the Vikings defense concerns me. If they're going to make a deep playoff run, this is the unit that's going to hold them back. All right? They got 3 sacks this game. Gave up 26 points allowed. Notice, they can score, but they cannot stop anybody. I mean, they gave the Bills 30 points. Okay? Philly had a day on them. All right? Not just through the air, but on the ground too. All right? Dallas ate them up. Okay? So clearly, they're going to be in for a long road if they can't stop anybody. But if you get a defense that can stop you and you can't score, but they can score on your horrible defense, not going far. Okay? There's a chance they could be one and done. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if you get the right matchup, possible one and done. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but they could be one and done. All right? With that defense not playing as good as people would like them to play. And Nwanwu, forgive me for butchering the name, he had a 97-yard kick return touchdown. That was a key difference in the game. The interception was a missed opportunity. 8 of 15 on third downs. Pretty good. Really good, actually. Above 50%. 1 turnover. 3 of 5 in the red zone. And they beat us by only 7. Okay? They convert 3 of 5, and we go for 3. Little things matter to win games. Little things matter. Bucs and the Browns. Caught the tail end of this game, mainly overtime I caught. Tom Brady was okay, 29 of 43, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns. Rachaad White ran the ball well, 14 for 64 on the ground. Godwin had a monster day, 12 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. Keith had a touchdown as well. Offensive line, though, just continues to get beat up at the worst times. Now Tristan Wirfs has a high ankle sprain. He's out multiple weeks. Okay? Donovan Smith's been okay. Their interior took a hit earlier in the season with Jensen. Their offensive line just keeps getting hurt at the worst time. Okay? Defense gave up 23 points allowed. 4 sacks they were able to get. An INT, 11 quarterback hits. At some point, yes, the Tampa defense is good, but the offense has got to pick up the slack. Okay? Whatever the problem is, they've got to get this sorted out. All right? I don't know what more there is. I don't know if it's Brady not having trust in the guy's interior, and now with Wirfs gone, you've got one really okay tackle versus maybe a backup swing tackle or a second string tackle that's not really in much starting games, okay? And we remember Wirfs got hurt in the Rams playoff game, so now he's out multiple weeks. And that line wasn't very good at that point, okay? So what are they going to be now? All right? 4 of 15 on third down, not very good, okay? Terrible. 9 penalties, 70 yards. There is a legit concern in Tampa right now. And their schedule is not getting easier. You've got the Saints coming up Monday night. It's Andy Dalton, but Dennis Allen's figured out a way to get under Brady's nerves. You've got San Francisco coming up. You've got Cincy coming up. All right? I probably missed a few other teams, but that's just a couple teams that come off already that I know that they're playing. It's not getting easier. It's not. And I don't know how to say this, but at some point, you got to find something that you're able to do. Now, is Todd Bowles a good coach? Right now, he's not looking that good. Because at least Bruce Arians had them above 500. Okay? Todd Bowles is seesaw. 500, below 500. 1 game above 500. Todd Bowles is just okay as a coach right now. All right? Which brings me to the Browns. Brissett was okay. Nick Chubb carried as usual. 26 for 116 and a touchdown. Schwartz had a 31-yard rushing touchdown. Amari Cooper, 7 for 94 receptions and yards. And Njoku had the touchdown to force overtime. Offensive line gave up 4 sacks allowed. We all know they're a run-blocking line more than a pass-blocking line because that's what Cleveland wants to do best. 17 points allowed, which is actually pretty good for the Browns. 3 sacks, no takeaways, but a lot of missed opportunities they had. A missed field goal, an interception, a turnover on downs. This game really would have been a different combo had they had one of those opportunities go their way. And neither did, and the game obviously went further into OT, and we all know what happened. 5 of 17 on third down, not very good at all. 1 turnover, but overall, big win, and Deshaun Watson comes back against his former team in Houston. So, big game for them next week. Although the Texans are garbage. But we'll get to the Texans in a little bit. Let's go to the Bengals and Titans. I actually watched this game. This was actually the best of the 1 o'clock games. Joe Burrow was really good. Now, this is without Joe Mixon. This is without Jamar Chase. So this is a huge deal, okay, that he was really good in this game. Okay? Not many guys can get 2 of their best offensive playmakers, go on the road against a really good team, and win on the road. They just did that. Okay? So, without your best running back, Joe Mixon, and without your number 1 receiver, Jamar Chase, you go into Tennessee and beat him. Joe Burrow was very good in this game. Okay? Samaje Perine ran the ball well, 17 for 58 and a touchdown. By the way, Burrow was 22 of 37 for 270 and a touchdown. Like I said, very good. Higgins stepped up for Chase when he was out, 7 for 114 and a touchdown. But the Cincinnati Bengals held Derrick Henry and company to 16 points, got a sack. They held him in check, okay? No takeaways, but they gave up a couple big plays to Tennessee, but they kept Derrick Henry mostly in check, outside of one big run that I don't think ended up counting on the stat sheet because he fumbled right at the 1 and Burks picked it up as a recovery. But they kept Derrick Henry in check most of that game, outside of one big run, okay? Which I don't know if it counted on the stat sheet. I don't think it did. 0 takeaways, like I said. 5 of 14, though, not very good. 1 of 3 in the red zone, a little sloppy. 9 penalties for 80 yards. But the bottom line of this game was big one on the road for Cincinnati. Here's the thing, though. They are still a scary team. They just went into Tennessee and beat the Titans, okay, without their 2 best offensive playmakers, okay? They played the Ravens tough, okay? They beat Miami already, okay? They're going to play Buffalo coming up, all right? They obviously beat the Jets early before the Jets caught fire, all right? So, then we look at who they're going to verse. Kansas City and Buffalo coming up. Cincinnati has been playoff teams, except for the Ravens, which they'll get one more crack at last week of the season. Cincinnati is scary, okay? And their schedule's tough compared to the Ravens. But I'll tell you what, man. The Bengals have a good chance to win the division. The Ravens, to me, we'll get to them in a little bit. The Bengals would not surprise me if they win the North. I would feel a lot comfortable with Joe Burrow, already with the experience he has, over the Ravens, who just are too up and down. We don't know what they are sometimes. Okay, we'll get to the Ravens. But don't rule out the Bengals winning the North. They got a chance. I don't know why the Ravens are such a little bit of a huge favorites for the Bengals, who are only 1 game out. Obviously, the schedules are varying differently. Ravens have an easier path. Bengals have a tougher path. But I'll tell you this. This is reminding me of last year when Cincinnati caught fire. This is the exact, very similar thing when they caught fire. All right? And looks like they might be recapturing that. All right? Which brings me to the Titans. Tannehill was okay. He made a couple big plays. But when it was the plays that they had to get, they kept settling for 3. And Derrick Henry got held in check. Like I said, the running game didn't do much. Receivers did okay. Burks had a couple big plays. I think Westbrook Akine had maybe 1 or 2 plays that stood out. Like I said, Traylon Burks with the fumble recovery. Defense held them in 20. Their offense just couldn't score. All right? 1 sack, no takeaways. 7 of 16 on third down. And here's why Tennessee couldn't score. 0 of 3 in the red zone. They settled for 3 field goals. 3. You only needed to cash in once, and there might be a different conversation. Even 2 would have been different. But not 1. 0 of 3 in the red zone. 8 penalties for 57 yards. Tennessee is going to be fine because they're going to win the division by default. But if you got a good run defense, you can hold King Henry in check. And that's what the Bengals did. Texans and the Dolphins. Okay. This is the last time I'm bringing up the Texans. I don't care if they win against Cleveland. This is the last time. They are literally one loss away from being totally eliminated. And we already know that number one rule on Loud Time is if you're out of the playoffs, we're done talking about you. Texans, get ready because this might be the last episode I talk about them until next season, okay? Kyle Allen was awful. Ogunbowale had a rushing touchdown. I don't know why they didn't use Dameon Pierce because their best shot to beat Miami was to stick it on the ground, keep Miami off the sidelines, and they couldn't even run the ball well with him. Jordan Akins had 5 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown. They gave up 5 sacks allowed. Defense gave them really 24, okay? Stewart had a fumble recovery. They had 5 team sacks. 1 missed opportunity, the INT. 2 of 13 on third down. 3 turnovers. I'm done. Like I don't want to talk about this team no more. Get them off, get them off my notes, please. I'm done with them. They're trash. Okay. Which brings me to Miami. Tua was good. Jeff Wilson had a rushing touchdown. The running game really didn't do much. Drew Smythe had a touchdown. Receivers did good. Tyreek, Waddle, Sherfield had a couple plays. Offensive line did give up 5 sacks. A little concerning because the Texans have not really been much of a good pass rush all year. One of the worst run defenses, too. They held them in check. That's concerning. Defense held them to 15. That works, okay? Xavier Howard had a fumble recovery for touchdown. They were able to get 5 sacks. 2 INTs they got. 4-15 on third down, not very good. 2 of 5 in the red zone. That could have been, well, the third downs mostly were because they benched Tua in the third, and they put Skylar Thompson in most of for a quarter and a half. The red zone, I don't know what happened, but 2 of 5 is not very good against the Texans, who are just not a very good team in general. Bears and the Jets. Justin Fields didn't play. Trevor Siemian did. He was okay. Running game was all right. Byron Pringle had a receiving touchdown. Defense had 1 sack. Gave up 31. Turnover on downs, INT, or lone missed opportunities. 4-13 on third down. 1 of 3 in the red zone. And they lost Darnell Mooney for the year. So, Chicago, I've been saying it. I'm not going to re-echo this. Just get ready to build for the future, okay? Justin Fields, you have to just know you have to build a line, receivers. You know what you can have a good running game. Defense has got to get better. That's Eberflus's calling card. So, Chicago, just get ready to enjoy the rebuild, okay? Which brings me to the Jets. Mike White was good, 22 of 28, 315, 3 touchdowns. I know everybody's saying he was great, but calm down. It's the Bears, okay? Calm down. This is not a very good team to begin with, okay? Ty Johnson had a rushing touchdown. Garrett Wilson, 5 catches, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns. Elijah Moore, 2 catches, 64 yards, and a touchdown. The defense held the Bears to 10. No surprise. 2 sacks. C.J. Mosley had a pick. They had a turnover on downs and missed field goal for their missed opportunities. And they were 7-12 on third down. That's great. Again, it's a team you're supposed to beat. You're home for them, so you should have won this game. Okay? Especially without Fields. It would have been a bigger embarrassment had you not won. So let's calm down, okay? It was a nice win. You were supposed to beat them. Now, you've got 4 tough road games starting next week. If he does this against Minnesota, well, actually, Minnesota's not a good defense, but you have tough road games coming up. If you're able to do that against the good defenses coming up, like Buffalo and Miami, maybe I would start to say, okay, that was impressive. But you know what? Not a big deal about this because this is the Bears. Let's see how they do in the 4 road games. I think they're going to struggle. All right? Falcons and Commanders. Marcus Mariota was okay. 15 of 25, 174, touchdown and a pick. Running game did good. That's the only thing the Falcons can do well. Zacchaeus had 5 catches, 91 yards. Michael Pruitt had a receiving touchdown. Defense gave up 19. Problem is, Atlanta can't get 20 a lot of games. Okay? 0 sacks, only 2 quarterback hits. Sure, they didn't give up a lot of points, but they didn't really help their offense by trying to get a stop, by trying to get a takeaway. I mean, I know Mykal Walker had an INT, but there were 3 missed opportunities. Turnover on downs, missed field goal, and then Mariota throws the game-sealing red zone interception. You lost by 6. Missed opportunities hurt. 4 of 10 on third down. Okay. 1 of 2 in the red zone. With that interception being the lone one. 1 turnover. Little things that separated you from winning this game. And they lost Kyle Pitts for the year. Ouch. So now everybody's going to be keen on the run. Drake London, he's going to be able to step up. I don't know who else is, though, because they have no receivers other than him. Which brings me to the Commanders. I have to eat my words. I said 1-4, get ready to prepare for a high draft pick. I have been so wrong. 6 of 7. 6 of 7 they've won now. All right. Heineke was okay. Brian Robinson, 18 carries, 105 yards, a receiving touchdown. Bates had a touchdown. Defense was lights out, 13 points, 1 sack. Kendall Fuller, the game-sealing interception. Washington is going to get Chase Young back at some point. And that's going to be a huge addition. Obviously, the question is, how healthy is he? He's working his way back to 100%. But combine him to that front 4, and hopefully that back end can work together. This is a scary defense to verse if they're all on the same page and healthy. Okay? 5 of 12 on third down, okay. 1 turnover. Washington's rolling. Big game against the Giants. Big game. Big game for both teams. I will be watching very, very, very closely, Giants fans. I will be watching. I did watch the Cowboy game. I watched a little of the Seattle game. I will be watching closely for flaws, and they're happening very slowly. But to the Commanders, this is going to make them sweat. The Commanders will make the Giants sweat. Broncos and the Panthers. There's not a lot really to talk about here. Russ was not good, usual. Latavius Murray, 13 for 92 yards on the ground. They got their running back after letting Melvin Gordon walk. Cortland Sutton, 6 catches, 75 yards. Johnson had a touchdown. O-line gave up 3 sacks. Defense gave up 23. No sacks. 2 quarterback hits for them. Fumble recovery they were able to get. A lot of missed opportunities on the ground, okay? Fumble, missed field goal. Turnover on downs, fumble. This offense is terrible, okay? It's a combination to me of Hackett and Russ for why Denver's in this situation. Hackett's in over his head. Russell Wilson is just, he's done. I don't know if he's broken. I think he looks broken. But did I see this drop-off coming? No way. He looks like he fell off a cliff. He does. I mean, wow. Even with a great defense, well, not a great defense, even a very good defense can't help win all the time because he's just not doing his job. Okay? And now you see the argument with him and the defensive lineman, Mike Purcell. That's a bad look, man. They're getting tired of it. You're getting paid a lot of money, Russell Wilson, and you're not doing your job. Okay? You were supposed to be a playoff team at the beginning of the year. You haven't even come close to living up to expectations. Wow. Denver defense didn't play well either. 2 quarterback hits on Sam Darnold. Wow. That's atrocious. 4-14, third down, not very good. 2 turnovers. I mean, I'm done. Get Denver out of here. I'm so done. all right? Said this weeks ago, months ago. This offense is horrible, okay? And I knew, once I seen those 3 games, I said, they're not going far. They're not a good 2-1 team. Which brings me to the Panthers. Sam Darnold was all right. Running game, carried. Hubbard, Foreman. Foreman, 24 for 115. Hubbard, 17 for 65. DJ Moore, 4 catches, 103 yards, and a touchdown. Defense basically won them the game. 10 points allowed. 3 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries. 10 quarterback hits on Russell Wilson. 10. To add insult to injury, their O-line, Denver, is horrible. Okay, and the Panthers' defense went off on them. Okay, 2 of 12 on third down, trash. That's the one thing they're holding back is their offense. 2 of 4 in the red zone. All right, they were able to get away with it this game, but on most standards, that's all right. Not even great certain games. Ravens and the Jaguars. This game did have a weather delay because of thunderstorms in the Jacksonville area. So late start, but I was actually watching another game, and as I heard this was going on, this was a crazy ending, okay? Lamar was just okay. Ravens fans, I'm sorry. You know what's going to happen? You guys have to make that decision. Are you going to pay Lamar Jackson to just be okay when clearly you don't know if, I don't think many people know if he can throw the ball at a high level at all. Because all we know is he's a dynamic runner. But let me tell you, I don't want to hear excuses of Lamar is no help because this was a game you should have won. Okay? And don't blame the greatest kicker, Justin Tucker, because even great kickers miss field goals. Okay? So don't give me that bullshit. All right? You guys have not been good from a skill position base since probably maybe 2014. That's how long I got to say they've been really good at skill positions. They have not been good at skill positions since. Okay? It's Mark Andrews or bust. Deshaun Jackson's basically just hanging around to try to get a ring when the Rams cut him last year and, you know, he thought he could make one run with Vegas, but they didn't even really use him much. Okay? So don't tell me Lamar is no help. Okay? Because they've never been good at skill positions the last almost 10 years. Okay? It's Andrews or bust. All right? Your running game, okay, they had Gus Edwards run one in. Oliver had a touchdown. Defense sold too. What are we going to talk about this defense? Constantly blowing leads. So Lamar has no defense. Do you remember when this team had 5 freaking Pro Bowlers? Judon, Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters. Earl Thomas is long gone, but he was a Pro Bowler then. Okay? I believe Brandon Williams was on that team. You remember when you had all them Pro Bowlers? I know they've been gone, but still, you've got all Pro Bowl level players. Justin Houston's now on your team. He's a really good player. Jason Pierre-Paul's on your team. He's old, I know, but they're still veterans. They're still good players. When are we going to hold the defense accountable for blowing leads? They're not very good either. They blew a lead to the Jaguars. Okay? 28 points allowed. 4 sacks they were able to get. A fumble recovery. But missed opportunities again. And this is where analytics is hurting them. Fumble, missed field goal. Once in a while, Justin Tucker's going to miss a kick. But 2 fumbles? 2. And you lost by 1. 1. Ravens' defense is not that good. And their offense is really one big guy, and that's Mark Andrews. Plus, did I remind you, we all know what Lamar Jackson is in the playoffs. 1 playoff win. 1. Okay? And that was against the Titans. 1. 1 and done. 1 and done. And then lost in the second round. Lamar Jackson doesn't play well in the biggest games. Okay? So, let me tell you something. You guys got problems. If I'm any team in the AFC trying to get in, I may not want to verse them schematically, but I do want to verse them because they do happen to blow a lot of leads, and they are not as good as everybody makes them seem to be. No way are they in the class of the Bills, the Chiefs. I would even put Cincinnati in that class. They're not better than Cincy. No way. They're not. Miami's better. Miami beat them. They're not that good. Don't be surprised for another late season collapse. But they have an easy schedule, so maybe they'll be... Well, actually, they'll make it. 205 in the red zone, 2 turnovers, and they were 8 of 14 on third down. 205 in the red zone and 2 turnovers. You lost by 1. Okay? Granted, we'll get to Jacksonville's side, but still. Harbaugh did it, and he didn't get the 2-point conversion. And everybody chewed him out. Well, you should be practicing how to stop 2-point conversions. Guess you don't. Jacksonville side of things. Trevor Lawrence was good. 29 to 37. 321 yards, 3 touchdowns. Shouldn't say good. He's actually great. Okay? He actually had a great game against the Ravens. Running game, they sucked. Zay Jones, 11 catches, 145 yards. JaMychal Hasty had a receiving touchdown out of the backfield. Jamal Agnew, Marvin Jones Jr. had a receiving touchdown each. Offensive line, though, in Jacksonville, 4 sacks is all right. Defense, 2 fumble recoveries, 27 they gave up. Still a lot. Like I said, they can't stop a lot. 1 sack. Olakun had 13 solo tackles, the 1 linebacker that I like. I like Devin Lloyd, too. I shouldn't say the 1 linebacker. Like, there's 2, actually. They did have a turnover on downs and fumble as their lone missed opportunities. They were lucky to win this game by a 2-point conversion. 4 of 13 on third down. Not great. 2 of 4 in the red zone. Okay, 1 turnover. Cleaning up. But Jacksonville's future, definitely a major transformation, plus in a positive way, from Urban Meyer to Doug Peterson. We can all agree on that. Chargers and the Cardinals. Checked a little bit of this game out too. And again, the same thing happened at the end. Chargers went for 2 and got it. So not only did we have 2 endings that came down to a 2-point conversion, both teams won by 8 points. Crazy. Crazy. Justin Herbert was good, 35 of 47, 274, 3 touchdowns. Running game didn't really do much. I was a little surprised by that. DeAndre Carter, 7 for 73 and a touchdown. Austin Eckler out of the backfield, 11 passes. He caught 60 yards and a touchdown. Keenan Allen, 5 for 49 and a touchdown. Defense gave up 24. A lot of big guys are out, and I'm not sold on Brandon Staley's unit if, Bosa's out, J.C. Jackson's out for the year. So the Chargers defense is on fumes, okay? 1 sack, 1 fumble recovery. Derwin James got an interception. All offensive lines even looked shaky last couple weeks. 4 sacks allowed they gave up this game. 6 of 13 on third down. Pretty good. Overall, Chargers, that was a nice win on the road. But I am not hopping on that bandwagon. No way. Nope. I'm good. Which brings me to the Cardinals. Kyler was okay. You know, nothing really crazy. He did have a rushing touchdown. James Conner carried the ball 25 times, 120 yards. Caught a touchdown out of the backfield. Hopkins, 4 catches, 87 yards and a touchdown. Defense actually had a really good game. 4 sacks. Did give up 25, so I shouldn't say a really good game, but 4 sacks they were able to get on Herbert. 25 they gave up on the late 2-point try. 13 quarterback hits. You hit Justin Herbert 13 times, but yet you still gave up 25. They get no takeaways, and again, missed opportunities hurting you. Fumble, missed field goal, INT. Arizona's 4-8. Cliff Kingsbury, I'm on the record. He's not a very good coach. He's just not. Okay? And he's okay as an offensive mind. He's sure he gets a lot of receivers, and he's got decent running backs. But let me tell you, they are not producing. They're not producing wins. Okay? 7 of 13 on third down. That's pretty good. 2 turnovers. 4-8. They're not very good. Okay? Vegas and the Seahawks. A little bit of this game I checked out. Derek Carr was okay. Josh Jacobs really did the heavy lifting. 33 carries, 229 yards, 2 touchdowns. 33 carries for 229 and 2 touchdowns. And he caught 6 passes out of the backfield for 74 yards. He did everything. Mac Hollins, Amir Abdullah, Moreo, receiving touchdown each. Moreau, I should say, my fault. Defense gave up 34 points allowed. I told you, the only way Raiders are going to win games this year is if they're in a lot of high-scoring shootouts. This was one of those games, okay? 3 sacks, 10 quarterback hits. Denzel Perriman got an INT. Jones had a fumble recovery. A lot of missed opportunities they laid out, okay? Interception, turnover on downs. The missed field goal that would have ended it in regulation, they missed, okay? 8 of 14 on third down's great. 2 of 4 in the red zone, okay. But the Raiders have a bad history of this as well, just like the Cowboys. Penalties and turnovers. 7 penalties, 2 turnovers. The Raiders just do undisciplined things all the time. And that's why I don't think that they are going to go anywhere. They're not going to go far. Sure, they've had 2 nice close wins, on the end, but too late. Too late. Which brings me to Seattle. Off the bye week, Geno Smith was good. Kenneth Walker, 2 rushing touchdowns. Tyler Lockett, 3 catches, 68 yards and a touchdown. Travis Homer had a receiving touchdown out of the backfield. Offensive line, 3 sacks allowed. Young line, I know, but they didn't protect Geno really well. Okay? Defense gave up 40 points allowed. 40. They can't stop the run through the last 2 weeks. That's a problem. That's a problem. Bucks ran wild on him before the bye, and coming off the bye, Josh Jacobs does that to you guys? Wow. 40 points allowed, 1 sack. Quandre Diggs got 2 interceptions. They had the fumble as a lone missed opportunity. 3 of 9 on third down. Not very good. 3 of 5 in the red zone. All you needed was 1 more conversion. You're in. 2 turnovers. Seattle's slipping. Okay? You're losing grip of not just the West, but you're losing grip on a wild card because the whole East is doing better. Your only hope is the NFC East just beats up on each other and you somehow sneak in. All right? Geno coming back down to earth. Okay? Rams and the Chiefs. I'm not really spending a lot of time on this. The Rams are done. I said it 2 weeks ago. I'm sticking with it. Perkins was Run game, Jefferson had a touchdown. Offensive line, 3 sacks allowed. We said all year the line's not been good. Defense had a fumble recovery. 26 they gave up. Bend but don't break. Did okay, but your offense couldn't score, which helped it out. But overall, they did pretty good defensively. Got the interception. 2 INTs, missed opportunities. 5 of 13 on third down. Okay. Not really that great. 2 turnovers. And now Donald's out with an injury. They're done. I'm done. The all-in worked for the ring, but the year after, brutal. Brings me to the Chiefs. Mahomes is okay. Still getting handed the MVP by the media. I'll let him have it because, the media wants him to get MVP. They're just like they want to anoint him the next GOAT, which he's very good, but he has not passed all-time great quarterbacks yet. I'm sorry. Not by my book. I'm not that delusional and not knowledgeable of football to go do that yet. No way. He's got to still put a little bit more years before we start putting him ahead of all-time greats. But we're just going to simply forget the interception in the red zone he had. That would have put the knockout punch in. We're just going to simply forget about that. Guess we do, because that's what the media wants to do. Pacheco ran the ball well. 22 times, 69 yards, touchdown. Kelsey, 4 catches, 57 yards, and a touchdown. Defense, 3 sacks, 10 points allowed. 2 INTs. Please. It's the Rams. Please. I'm not impressed. Play real teams. 5-11. That's pretty good on third down. 1 for 6 in the red zone. 1 for 6 and 2 turnovers. 1 for 6 in the red zone and 2 turnovers. Do I see slight cracks? Do I see a little complacency? I think they're getting a little too comfortable at the top. I think that's what it is. I remind you, though, remember last year when you got comfortable with the 1 seed? Who beat you guys to knock you down out of the bye? Oh, the team you're playing coming up. Oh, boy. Maybe you won't be that 1 seed that much longer. Oh, no. You'll get away with that cupcake schedule, and even if you do, your defense is still in question marks, and you're starting to show slight cracks. Just all right. Defensive coordinators, watch this game. Watch what the Rams did, along with the Colts and the Bills. Even Tennessee, for that matter. They even made them frustrated. Even the Chargers, I should say. First meeting. Okay? Which brings me to the Saints and Niners. Not a lot to talk about of a 13-0 game. Dalton sucks. Kamara in the run game, nowhere. Olave, Shaheed, only wide receivers that did something. Okay? Defense held them to 13. Held the Niners to 13. Got 1 sack, no takeaways, but a lot of missed opportunities. Fumble, both by Kamara. Missed field goal, and a turnover on downs. And the Saints are just not that good either. I picked them to make the playoffs. I have been dead wrong on this. Okay? The only reason they're still alive is their division is god-awful. God-awful. Okay? 4 of 11 on third down. 0 of 2 in the red zone. 2 turnovers and 6 penalties. They're just not very good. They're just not good. I'm like done with them. Just please get them out of my view. I'm done with them. Okay? Which brings me to the Niners. Jimmy G was okay. He had some questionable plays he made. I thought he was okay. Running game, McCaffrey, Mitchell, they were all right this game. Juwan Jennings had a touchdown. Nice play to the corner of the end zone. Ayuk, 5 catches, 65 yards. Defense, 0 points allowed. Pitched a shutout. 2 fumble recoveries, 1 sack. That was great. They pitched a shutout. They got sacked. They got turnover. 2 fumble recoveries. The 1 turnover on downs in the red zone. Missed opportunity. You guys could have been a little bit more up comfortably. I don't like the 4th down and goal call when you guys did get the turnover on downs. That's just me. Kittle was wide open, I thought. And I don't know. And Jimmy G missed McCaffrey on the play before. 0 takeaways, though, the Niners got. That's all right. No. They got 2 fumble recoveries. I was reading something else. 1 of 3 in the red zone. 5 of 13 on third down. All right. I mean, now you got the tough games coming up. Miami, Tampa, I don't think is as tough as we thought going into before the season. But in Seattle, they got on a Thursday night. So the Niners have some tough games coming up. All right? And I think that they're ready to answer the call to be one of the best teams in the NFC. I still pick them to go to the Super Bowl. I'm sticking with it. All right? Packers and the Eagles. Rodgers looked okay. A.J. Dillon, 8 for 64 yards and a touchdown. He actually ran the ball pretty good. Watson, 4 catches, 110 yards and a touchdown. Young star in the making. Jones had a receiving touchdown. Cobb had a receiving touchdown. Offensive line, 3 sacks allowed. Not very good. Defense gave up 40 points. Got 2 sacks, a fumble recovery. Aaron Rodgers threw 2 INTs that were big missed opportunities. Eagles cashed in on both of them. 1 for 7 on third down. Awful. 1 for 7. Okay, now I know Jordan Love came in late, but that's horrible. 1 for 7 on third down to keep drives alive and make it a game. Which they mostly did, but 1 for 7. That's awful. Okay? 2 for 4 in the red zone. You lost by 7. That's bad. 2 turnovers. Now, I heard today Rodgers is going to give it a go for the Bears game, but if I'm the Packers and I'm serious about this, I know Rodgers would get pissed by me saying this. I don't care. Where do you really think you guys are going to go? Where do you honestly think you guys are going to go? You're 4-8. Okay? And yes, I know you got the Bears, you got the Rams coming up, you got the Lions again, and you got Minnesota. But where do you honestly think you guys are going to go? If I'm the Packers, this is what I do. I would start Jordan Love the rest of the season. And I would just see if he's my future. You know why? He's in his 3rd year. You got to decide whether you're going to pick up his 5th-year option or not. Okay? If he looks good, pick up his option. Tell Aaron, you got 2 more years. Okay? We're giving you 2 more years, and we're going to go to the kid. Or at least another year. Okay? And then, if he sucks, you're still going to get value because somebody's going to want a quarterback. Okay? And at least try to see if they can make him something. Because if he sucks, you guys at least won't give up Aaron. So, if I'm the Packers, you're 4-8. Where do you expect to go? You might as well just start Jordan Love. Just see what you get. Okay? What do you got to lose? Okay? Which brings me to the Eagles. Jalen Hurts was good. 16 to 28, 153, 17 carries, 157 yards. He was crazy this game. Miles Sanders, 21 carries, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns. Gainwell had a rushing touchdown. A.J. Brown, Quez Watkins, touchdown each. Defense, 33 points allowed. 2 INTs, 3 sacks. They look like they're limping lately. Even with Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph they picked up, they are limping. Okay? 8 of 15 on 3rd down. That's great. The fumble was the one missed opportunity. I'm not sold on the Eagles holding on to that division. I think Dallas is creeping up. I think Dallas might end up winning the division. All right? Philly's got some games where I'm like, I don't know if they're going to win those games. I don't know. Steelers and the Colts. Kenny Pickett was okay. Benny Snell, Najee Harris ran the ball, had a touchdown each. George Pickens was too up and down. Okay? Down in the fact that, had some tough catches that he should have went underhand on one. Okay? Dropped, I think, one I thought that stood out. And then he had the upward, the 2-point conversion. That was actually clutch because it pulled it to within a 7-point game. Offensive line still is shaky. 3 sacks allowed. Defense really did a good job on the Colts. 17 points allowed. Got an interception. 3 sacks. A fumble recovery. And they were 7 of 14 on 3rd down. That's great. Pittsburgh is trending upward. Okay? They are getting better and better. It's just their schedule at the early part of the year was brutal. Now they're getting better. Okay? And they're going to get better by the end of the year. Okay? No playoffs or anything. But they're going to show signs that they'll be back soon. Okay? Which brings me to the Colts. Matt Ryan's awful. He's done. Okay? I'm watching him throw the ball in the delivery. It just looks wobbly. It just looks off on accuracy. And I just don't think all he does is check down. He's done. He can't even throw downfield. I mean, wow. Jonathan Taylor, 20 carries, 86 yards, and a touchdown. That's all they got. Jelani Woods, 8 catches, 98 yards. He went off. Pittman, 7 for 61 and a touchdown. Offensive line for the Colts has been bad this season. 3 sacks allowed. Defense gave up 24 points allowed. 3 sacks. They got no takeaways. Then they had a ton of missed opportunities. Interception early in the game. The missed field goal. The fumble going in. Going in the 3rd quarter on the exchange. And then the turnover on downs, which was horrible clock management by Jeff Saturday. And that's what a rookie head coach we expected. Okay? Literally, this is exactly why people were against this move. I'm not one of those people that was against it. I was kind of like, all right, they weren't expected to go anywhere, at the time. It's kind of just like, all right, let's see. And they've been good outside of this game, but Jeff Saturday really cost them a chance to play for overtime by not calling timeouts, and they wasted a lot of time, and that turnover on downs was on him. 3 of 12 on 3rd down, awful. 2 of 3 in the red zone, 2 turnovers. They're done. They're done. All right. That's been recapping with Rich. Let's go to the Week 13 picks, shall we? Starting off with my Patriots against the Buffalo Bills. I don't feel good about this game. I don't think we're going to win. And like I said last week, if I say what we need to do to win, it won't happen. Okay? I would be happy for hell if they punted the ball once. Because you remember what happened the last 2 times these 2 teams met? Josh Allen and them didn't punt once. Okay? And you really think I'm going to buy into the fact that, oh yeah, all of a sudden Belichick's going to figure out Josh Allen. Really? We all know Belichick against great teams. Okay? He's not all that. Okay? Like I said, he's not as great as everybody seems to make him without Tom Brady. Okay? So give me Buffalo 34-13. Blowout. It's going to be a blowout. I'm telling you, if we win, I'll be shocked. Okay? But I have no confidence. None whatsoever. It will be a blowout. But I will painfully watch because, unfortunately, I've accepted what my team is. We can't beat the good teams, and we're not very good. Okay? 34-13. Bills over the Patriots. Steelers and the Falcons. Give me Pittsburgh. I'm feeling upsets. Give me Pittsburgh. I know it's Pittsburgh 1.5, but it's a pick 'em essentially. I'm going to take the Steelers 26-23 over Atlanta. All right? I feel like that Atlanta's only hope is to run the ball because that's all they can do. Pittsburgh's a good run defense. Okay? Although they made the Colts have Jonathan Taylor give 86. So I think Atlanta's only hope is to stay in the game and try to run. And with Drake London as their only guy, I just feel like it could be maybe by a wider margin. But I'm going to go Pittsburgh 26, Atlanta 23. Packers and the Bears. I'm going to assume Justin Fields isn't playing because he's obviously got the shoulder. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is going to beat the Bears in Chicago. Chicago lost all their key defensive guys. All they do is run the ball. Green Bay's had trouble stopping the run. But I feel like Aaron Rodgers and company, they own them. And I'm going to pick them to go 27-17 over the Bears. Jaguars-Lions. Sneaky good game between 2 teams trying to make something out of a playoff run. All right? I'm going to take Jacksonville here. Another pick-em game, but I'm going to take Jacksonville 35-31. I don't trust Detroit's defense. They can score, but neither team can stop a cold. I wouldn't be shocked if it's in the 40s between both teams. So, very identical both teams. 35-31. Jacksonville over the Lions. Vikings against the Jets. Jets have a good defense, but are we really sold on Mike White? I know the Vikings defense is awful, but are we really that sold on the Jets going to turn this corner? Have you forgot who their road games are coming up? In Vikings, in Bills, in Seahawks, in Miami. That's 4 of the last, 7 games they got? And all on the road. Okay, they got home for Lions and Jacksonville, and obviously they played the Bears. But I'm sorry, this is... I'm going to take Minnesota in a close one. I'm going to go 24-20 Minnesota over the Jets. I just feel like the Jets will get at least 20 because the Vikings defense is not good. But Minnesota, I think, will eventually get 24, and they'll win another close one. Giants and Commanders. Part of me wants to take the Commanders so bad. So bad I want to take the Commanders. But Heineke's looked all right lately. And Robinson's been good. And I know McLaurin, Samuel, and Dotson are a nice trio. But something just tells me the Giants are going to snap this skid. They are. I didn't pick them to beat Dallas. I did pick them to beat Detroit, though. If it wasn't Washington, I would take the Commanders, but it's in Giants. And the Giants have had 10 days off. I'll take the Giants 24-17 over the Commanders. I just have a feeling Saquon Barkley, they're going to run him more, and that's really their bell cow. So give me the Giants 24-17 over Washington. Titans, Eagles. Give me the upset. I'm taking Tennessee to beat Philly. I don't like what I'm seeing at all out of Philly last 3 weeks. Okay? They are just sweating it out. Tennessee's been on fire lately. I'm going to go with Tennessee 20-17. I think the Titans can stop the run. Tannehill's got to just make a couple plays to not F it up. And I feel like that, I know the receivers do concern me, but remember, Tennessee has A.J. Brown. They know what strengths and weaknesses he has. Okay? Now, do they double them all game? I don't know. But give me Tennessee 20-17 over Philly. I'm taking an upset. I'm going to take a chance on this. Ravens and the Broncos. Denver can't score. Ravens blow leads. Okay? If the Ravens can't beat Denver, this is going to be laugh out loud moment of the week. Okay? I got Baltimore 30, Denver 10. Denver's defense, I don't think they're going to be able to stop Lamar Jackson, and I don't feel like that Denver's going to be able to score. I think the Ravens will be able to at least hang 30 on them, so give me 30-10 Ravens over the Broncos. Browns and the Texans. Deshaun Watson's first game back is against his former team. Texans have no chance. Give me 31-14 Cleveland over the Texans. Seahawks and Rams. The Rams are done. That's all you need to know. Seattle's against a division rival. Donald's out. Kupp's out. Stafford's out. Everybody's out. Give me Seattle 23-9 over the Rams. I feel like Seattle's going to at least put up 23 points. Give me Seattle 23-9 over the Rams. Niners and Miami. I'm telling you right now. Miami, this is where you come back down to earth. Remember, Kyle Shanahan knows Mike McDaniel, okay? He's built his team similar to what Kyle Shanahan's done, okay? The Niners' defense is way better than Miami, okay? I am taking the Niners 30-16 over the Dolphins, okay? I think this is where Miami begins to come back down to earth, okay? Give me the Niners 30-16 over Miami. Bengals and the Chiefs. Guarantee the Cincinnati Bengals are going to upset the Kansas City Chiefs. That's right, Mahomes bandwagons. That's right, Chief bandwagons. Burrow owns Mahomes, okay? And he's going to own him again. Give me the Bengals 33, the Chiefs 30. Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers. I am not sold on this Charger defense with two big guys out, Joey Bosa and J.C. Jackson. Vegas can score, but can they stop Justin Herbert? Okay? I think they're going to be able to get one key stop on him. Okay? I'm going to go 35-27 Las Vegas Raiders over the Chargers. Cowboys Colts. Moved up to 11. It was 9. But I'm watching the way Matt Ryan throws the ball. He looks done. And I just feel like Dallas you got to take away Jonathan Taylor. If Matt Ryan beats you, tip your cap. But I'm sorry. Matt Ryan can't throw the ball over 10 yards. He just can't. All right? It's either wobbly. It's just, he looks done. Give me the Dallas Cowboys 34-14 over the Colts. Bucks and Saints. Would not be surprised if the Saints win in Tampa. What was it, 9-0 last year like they did? But I think this game, I just trust Tampa a little more. I know, how are you saying you trust Tampa over Dalton? Well, Dalton sucks. Tampa's a good run defense, so Kamara's going to be clamped up. It's either Chris Olave or bust for the Saints. Okay? Tampa, they're going to be in for a long game, I feel like, because Dennis Allen always frustrates Brady with those defenses he has. Dead under. Wouldn't be surprised if it's lower than this score I'm about to give you. Give me 17-13, Tampa over the Saints. All right, those are my Week 13 picks. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so that way you guys can get all of the notifications that you guys need. Make sure you hit that notification bell. All right, so that way you guys can get up to date on every episode we have of Lounge Time during the week. And you can also follow our guarantees that we do during the week so that way you guys can follow on our best bets. Or you don't have to take them. You could take a shot at going against us. But if you want to follow us on those, you can do that as well. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Lounge Time. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you guys next week on the next episode of Lounge Time. Have a good night, everyone.